to you from the Yard Dawgs Podcast studio. A show for the fans, by the fans. Talking all things Cleveland Browns. From our mic to your ears. With your hosts, Jason Hand, Mikey P, and Ian Coltrane Coldiron.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving. You are now in the yard. Welcome to the Yard Dawgs Podcast, a show for the fans, by the fans. This is Season 3, Episode 105. I'm your host, Jason Hand. The Yard Dawgs Podcast is brought to you by Network 216. To check out all of our Ohio sports content, subscribe to our Network 216 YouTube channel. Joining me now, better than ever, my co-hosts, my partners in crime, Mikey P and Ian Coltrane Coldiron. Brothers, how we doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Ready for Thanksgiving.
Ian's ready for that cough button. That's what he's ready for.
I'm ready for that flu that's been going around.
He's ready for the.
I'm doing, man. I've had the flu for like a month, man. I'm still fighting it. So
it's going around.
Nasty stuff going around right now, y'all. Watch your back out there.
Do you have your Canada Dry, your beverage all set?
I actually have a water with a Cleveland Browns cup, and then I have a Prime today. Maybe future sponsor.
There we go.
I have basically it's electrolyte drink, man. Like I said, I got the flu, so I'm trying to drink anything to boost my immune.
I am drinking my normal Busch Light, the limited edition Thanksgiving special here. I've got 30 of them to enjoy over the next 4 days. So drink up, gentlemen. Mikey P, what are you enjoying tonight?
I'm actually enjoying some iced tea, some unsweetened tea.
Okay. So
a little bit of lemon in it.
So we have two smart people and one guy that's not so smart.
I'll be honest, guys. I don't think we do all the beer chug show. I like those guys on the 216 on the 216 network. Give them a shout out. I think Jason, you'd be all right with me and Mikey would probably be like, "Hey guys, do you mind if I chug a Red Bull?"
Yeah,
I like again.
I would fit in well, but I've never been invited. So no, I'm just kidding. Maybe I have. Maybe I just forgot. All right, let's get into some housekeeping. The Yard Dawgs Podcast and Network 216 are proud partners with Homage, the apparel company. If you haven't tried Homage yet, you are definitely missing out. Homage is always coming out with on-point, cutting-edge apparel like this nice sweatshirt here. It's a hoodie, I should say. And you got a nice shirt on there. Old school. They're coming out with stuff all the time. Homage has sweet holiday collection as well. All your favorite movies are represented. Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone, Die Hard. That's a Christmas classic. I don't care what anybody says. Jingle All the Way. Showing holiday class or supporting your favorite team, as hard as it may be these days, doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. As a bonus, you will get special discounts by using our link to shop at Homage. Show support for the show and Network 216 and do it in style. Shop Homage today. You can find the link on our website, network216ohio.com, or you can find the Homage link on our Twitter page at Yard Dawgs Pod. Shop Homage today. Coltrane, what do you got on there, bud? What shirt is that?
This is the Brown of the Elf. They released this right after we redo the field. Homage released this, and there was a big pickup. This is actually the same elf that's on Stefanski's orange hoodie. The equipment staff wants a very well used elf. But yeah, this is old school Brownie the Elf, man. You got to stick with the classics.
Is that the Brownie Elf? Is it before or after someone drove and did donuts all over the field?
It's before.
Before. Okay, gotcha. Mikey P sent me that tweet of someone breaking into First Energy Stadium and kind of redoing our field for us before this Sunday.
Yeah,
amazing.
Somebody drew a number 6, so it could have been the former tenant of of the stadium. They got it.
Or a Baker, bro.
Yeah, it could have been a Baker, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that story, I thought it was just a disgruntled fan. I was like, "Hey, more power to him, buddy. I got season tickets myself, bro. Hey, F Haslam, F you. I'd be riding through that stadium too one time. Pop a couple wheelies in there with my motorcycle, man. Let them know, hey, I'm paying for a losing product here." So that's what I thought. To be honest with you, when I saw the article, there's a losing product, man.
A disgruntled fan is what that was, possibly.
Yeah.
But happy Thanksgiving to our audience, Jeff. We see your message there. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas, from Jeff, a friend of the show, friend of the network. Happy Thanksgiving, Jeff. Good to see you in the yard, joining us on the Yard Dawgs Podcast.
Thanks for having my back earlier too, Jeff. Jeff's the good guy when you get into Twitter spat. Then you'll see some comment roll in. Jeff, replies, to have your back. Mikey, you had my back earlier too, but I like Jeff. Man. He comes out of nowhere a lot of times. Maybe you wake up late night, you wake up in the morning, Jeff makes a comment. It's like, all right, Jeff's got my back. So definitely one friend of the show, friend of ours. Appreciate you watching, man.
Yeah, like if we're in a bar fight, you would want Jeff there with you.
Yeah,
Jeff's got to be in my corner.
Yeah.
Jeff's the guy that would have the aluminum trash can and like the freaking lead pipe. Like he's the dude. He just looks like that type of guy. He'd be behind you like, hey, Ian, we're good, baby. I got this.
He's the manager. He's the mouth of the South, Bobby Heenan from the WWE days. Like he's your manager in the corner that when you need him, he's gonna be there for you.
For sure, man. For sure.
Well, this is our Thanksgiving episode. I think I've said this on this show before. Mikey, you definitely know this. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday ever.
Wow.
Yeah. I love the holiday season. Fall's in the air. The leaves are changing. It's hoodie weather, which is my favorite season. I like Christmas too. I like New Year's, but Thanksgiving, that has everything that I love in that day. So this is our Thanksgiving episode. I wanted to start. We're going to start with Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving segment, and what I want to do is just each of us share something that you're thankful for. I know families sometimes do this around the table. You're like, oh gosh, do I have to really say something I'm thankful for? But there's a lot to be thankful for. Especially on Brown's Twitter, there's so much negativity and complaining, and I get it. And we'll probably do some of that on this episode. But for the first part, just want to share some things that we're thankful for. Mikey P, I'll start with you.
Well, first and foremost, I'm thankful for you guys, of course, and the show, and all the listeners that listen to us every week and Network 216. And then I'm also very thankful for my family. I have a beautiful wife, two beautiful daughters that are I have a 5 and a 13-year-old that I'm very thankful for. I got two dogs that I'm thankful for, even though they drive me crazy from time to time. And that's what I'm thankful for. That's what I'm excited for to do this Thanksgiving holiday is spend the day with them. Some days, when I just have a day off, like, work is always there in the background, of course, sometimes. And you got other stuff that's going on in your life. And it's always nice. I like that the Browns actually don't play on Thanksgiving a lot, or I don't recall them ever as long as I've been watching them. Because it's like a day you get to watch other games, you get to fellowship with your family and spend the day, and then you get to eat some damn good food. So,
and then when you get hungry again, you eat some more food.
Exactly. And then you got leftovers for like weeks.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, who could not love that? Good stuff, Mikey P. Coltrane, man, what are you thankful for, brother?
Oh, first, happy Thanksgiving to Brian Music, man. The message popped up. Happy Thanksgiving to the King of the Thriller, another friend of the show, another follower of ours. We appreciate you, Brian. But I'm thankful for my beautiful wife, Sarah Coldiron. I'm thankful for my beautiful and great 7-month-old baby girl. I'm thankful just for my family, guys. I'm thankful for this show as well, Mikey. To piggyback what you were saying, this is a great blessing having this show because it gives us a voice. We're all Browns fans. We're all diehards, but this gives me that voice even this week to where I'm upset and I have a an outlet to let it out and share with fans and kind of have my Browns therapy, if you will. So thankful for the show, thankful for the Yard Dogs, my 2 dogs right here, and also my 2 dogs at home as well. So that's me.
Good stuff, Coltrane. I'm thankful first and foremost for my family. God gave me my family, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them. First, starting with my wife Dana, she's like the commander, the captain of the Hand family ship. Like, she's the glue that holds everything together. And sometimes I just sit back and I'm amazed that she can go out and work a 10, 12-hour day teaching, and then she comes home and makes a dinner for the kids and helps them with their homework. Her energy is just off the charts. Like, I don't know how she does it sometimes. Like when if she has a late meeting or something like that and it's time for me to cook, you guys know what I do. It's like Papa John's website, and I'm ordering something. I'm ordering Chinese food, pizza, or Jimmy John's. That's my next one. But I'm thankful for Dana. I'm thankful for my girls. They're teenagers now, and they're the best girls that I could ever hope for. They rarely get into trouble. They're very respectful. I get told that all the time, even by their teachers. So I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for my older boys. They're now productive members of society, and they're raised and out of the house now. And Jacob, my middle son, he's in Arizona, working real hard as a trash man and just really doing good. Is wise with his money. He preaches on Sundays, so I just really proud of him. And then my oldest son, Zach, he's like a carbon copy of me. He's free-spirited, but he's a hard worker, and he's also respectful, so I appreciate him. I appreciate my career. Mikey, you might know this. I was at one job for 24 years from the time I was 24 till 2 years ago, and I recently switched careers, and it was very scary. And at times I thought I made the biggest mistake. But as I sit here tonight, I'm just thankful for the job that I have. Working outdoors, building swimming pools for people is a career move that I never thought I'd be tasked with. But here it is, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for this country. We're able to have freedoms. The blood was shed for the freedoms that we have, and I'm just thankful that we were born in the United States of America. And I'm sorry if I'm going too long, but this podcast, I've never lived in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, some people may not know that, but I've been a Browns fan since I was a young lad. I was raised that way. My dad was a Browns fan, still is a Browns fan. So I have never been around a large amount of Browns fans. It was always just me, and then everybody else I was surrounded with, friends and things like that, were fans of other teams. So when I found Browns Twitter, that opened my eyes, and I was immediately thankful, because now all of a sudden I can interact and build relationships and talk to other people that were Browns fans, which I've never had before in my entire life. And then taking a step forward to doing this podcast and having fans of the Cleveland Browns as guests on the show, and then it morphed into me meeting Mikey P. I really believe that God puts people in my life for a reason, and it's not an accident. It was meant to be. Met Mikey P a couple of years ago. We happened to live pretty close to 20 minutes apart. So he's also here in Virginia, and soon after meeting you became co-host of this podcast, and by accident, I say, everything's meant to be, but Ian, you were a guest on our show. And Mikey and I were looking for a third co-host, and Mikey couldn't join us for our episode. And Ian, I swear to God, man, when we ended the episode, I said, that's the guy we've been looking for. And Mikey listened to the episode. I talked to him. He's like, dude, if he's in, I'm in. And so here is our third co-host. And since then, we've gone to a Browns game together. We got to meet and share some beverages. We met Brian. Brian's listening to the show right now, and he's giving me some tremendous laughs. I'm kind of going into left field, but I just remember Mikey and I grabbed our seat at First Energy Stadium. And how many seats are in First Energy Stadium, Ian? You're a season ticket holder.
60,000 plus something.
60,000 plus seats, and Mikey P and I sit down, and one row back and 4 seats over is Brian. After we just tailgated with him, and I hear Yard Dawgs, and I turn my head, and there's Brian, and he's blowing kisses at me, and I'm like, this guy. So, in short, I'm thankful for the relationships and the laughs that we've had. This podcast, this show, has just been a tremendous blessing for me. Network 216, I mean, gosh, Mikey, I don't even know how we found out about Network 216. Somebody, I think Tyler might have approached us. They thought enough about us to ask to join the network. And I'm glad we did, because we've also formed some pretty good relationships there, and the network is growing. We got great, tremendous sponsors like Homage and Underdog Fantasy. We have more sponsors to come. But, I'm just thankful for a lot, and my heart is full of happiness. And I will piggyback off what you guys said, and I'll also thank the audience, because without you guys, there would be no reason to do a show.
Nope.
Although we've done a few shows with no audience before, but it's always better with an audience. So for those of you that are joining us tonight, thank you. We love you. And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. All right. This is story time. We're going to end this segment, but story time. Memorable Thanksgivings. Memorable. Like, everybody has that Thanksgiving where you're like, wow, I'm never going to forget this one. It could be because of maybe an uncle that had a little bit too much to drink, or the turkey that was a little overdone, but you ate it anyways, or just something funny that happened. Coltrane, I read your kind of a short snippet of your story, and it's a good one. I would like to start with that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Thanksgiving is all about good memories, family, friends, but Thanksgiving can also mean, some unpleasant type of things when you're dating somebody that you no longer date. And it was just, it was one of the past relationships of mine. And I think I was maybe 25, 26 years old at the time. And, me and this, I'm not going to say any names, me and this person were arguing kind of on Thanksgiving. It was a Dayton Thanksgiving. So I was supposed to be meeting my dad and his family out in Dayton, and we lived in Cleveland area, obviously. So I said, we were having an argument. I said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and head on out to Dayton myself. There's just a lot of hostility. I'm just going to kind of, alleviate the situation and head on to my family and happy Thanksgiving, whatever. So, I hop in my car and think nothing of it. I'm driving off. And I get to about the window where our apartment was at the time, and I see the door or the window sliding over, and I see this apple pie just doing a bullseye target right for the windshield of my car. And at that point, I think this is a joke. It was like a movie or something, straight out of a movie. And I of course, like the movies, I put the windshield wiper on, and it's just kind of moving the pie. Like, it's not really doing much. It's just kind of moving the pie over to over, where it just makes, it makes it work. It's just a big mess. And then you got the glaze. The glaze is sticking on the windshield. And, I'm just looking at this like, there's no way I can't get this car wash, man. Like, I have to go through a car. Like, this is unbelievable. I have to go through a car wash on Thanksgiving just to get to my family in Dayton. But anyways, long story short, yeah, man, I had to go through a car wash, spent about $20. I didn't even get all the pie off. You know how car washes are. There was still some glaze. I had to come out with my hand and wipe it off. But clean car, and then finally, that was pretty much the situation. Happy Thanksgiving, and I enjoyed my time with my Dayton family. Had a ball, but apple pie later, you'll never forget that time of Thanksgiving, guys. So.
Maybe she was just saying you forgot your pie. Maybe she was just being nice,
Who wastes an apple pie like that, man? Apple pie is amazing.
Yeah, like that alone is unforgivable. To destroy an apple pie like that.
Yeah, that's almost like, man, if I wasn't going to break up with you before then, you wasting this apple pie has definitely ruined it for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just one of those situations you just don't see coming, and then when it happens, you're just like, all right, I got apple pie in my windshield. I can take care of this.
I have one, and I'll try to do a shorter version, but this was like the most memorable Thanksgiving in the Hand family history. I was about 13 years old, maybe 12, and every year the boys in the family, we would go play a Thanksgiving Day football game, like a lot of families do that. Well, ours was no different. So we have our uncles, cousins, my dad, myself, my brothers. We're all going to play this football game. I'm 13 years old, and so my dad was the quarterback, and my uncle Dave played football. He was a really good football player. My dad, and him would talk smack all the time. Well, my dad went for the quarterback sneak in this football game.
Jacoby Brissett, the old Jacoby?
Jacoby Brissett. My dad runs like Jacoby, not real fast. He's effective, but not real fast. Well, my Uncle Dave saw his opportunity, and he lowered his shoulder and hit the crap out of my dad, like tackled him like a Ray Lewis tackle, on the football field. And my dad got up and walked directly to the sideline, sat on the bench. And my Uncle Dave's like, oh, come on, come on, get out of here, man. It wasn't that bad. And so my dad gets out there, all right. And he goes out there and he finishes the game. He drove us down to score a touchdown, actually, right after that. So we go back to my grandparents' house, and my dad's like, man, I got to go lay down. I'm just not feeling well. And about 45 minutes later, he comes out. He's like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And my dad must have really needed to go to the hospital because we didn't have insurance. So, it was bad if he's like, I need to go to the hospital. So we take him to the hospital. The doctor, they bring him in, and within an hour, he's having emergency surgery. Like, his spleen shattered. My Uncle Dave hit him so hard that it shattered my dad's spleen. And so he's in emergency surgery. Well, on Thanksgiving Day, remember, this is Thanksgiving Day, the surgeon comes out of a couple hours later, and the family's all sitting in the waiting room, including Uncle Dave, and the surgeon goes, I want to know who hit this man. And my Uncle Dave's like this, kind of holding his head down because he feels bad, right? And the surgeon goes, dude, I want to let you know what I just had to do to your brother. He goes, I had to cut his stomach open, take his intestines out, and with a pair of tweezers, I had to pick pieces of his spleen out and put it on the table next to me and then put them all back together with staples. It was a it was a memorable Thanksgiving, and my dad's recovered now. He doesn't have a spleen. I'm not even exactly sure what that organ does, but apparently you can live without it. But we haven't played Thanksgiving football since.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that was the last year.
Man.
Does your uncle still feel bad? Like, does he feel bad about it? Like, does he feel horrible about it?
I don't think that we really bring it up too much, unless we're sitting around drinking a couple beers and we'll go, hey, remember that Thanksgiving? And then it kind of brings back old memories. But it's the mood's light. Like, they're not mad at each other, but it was just, younger brother Dave had to get a shot on his oldest brother John and shattered his spleen. So,
man, oh man.
All right, Mikey, finish this off.
Oh, well, I got two ones. They're short stories, so I'll give you two Thanksgiving memories. First Thanksgiving memory is this was pre-internet days, and we're at my stepdad's mom's house. We're doing Thanksgiving over there with my stepdad and my mom and all his family and us. And all I wanted to do was like. Watching Thanksgiving football for me is like a special thing. Like I just love Thanksgiving football. Like I think it's cool that it's Detroit and Dallas every year. I know people will say they'd like to get changed, but it's cool that that's their tradition and you get to watch them. And I always remember it was like it's cool to watch the Cowboys. And this time the Cowboys were like this was during their like heyday when they're winning Super Bowls in the 90s. And we're down there eating dinner, and I'm like, man, when the Cowboys game comes on, it's like, it'd be cool, and you never see it because Dallas kind of plays it was like a half dome, half open stadium, and Detroit played in a dome. It's like you don't ever get to see snow on a Thanksgiving day, and I'm like, it'd be really cool to see snow on Thanksgiving. And as soon as dinner was over, I go upstairs, turn the TV on, I'm watching up with the guys, and all of a sudden they go to Dallas. It's when they're playing Miami, and it was that snow game that they had, the Leon Lett game. And I'm like, they're like Nostradamus over here predicting the future. Well, like I said, this was pre-internet days. Like if you had the internet now, you would have known about that at 8:00 in the morning. It's going to snow in Dallas, and they're going to have snow for the game. Like you didn't know until like the game came on, and they're like, CBS is going live to the stadium. You're like, holy moly! And field's covered in snow, and it was just a wild event.
Was that the Leon Lett game where he has the ball and he's going to score, and the guy hit it out of his hands?
Yeah. So what happens was Dallas, Miami drives down, gets in the field goal range, goes to kick the field goal, gets blocked. Well, because it goes past the line of scrimmage, it's a dead ball as long as Dallas doesn't touch it. Well, Leon Lett doesn't know this and starts running near it, and then he's like slides into it. So when he slides into it, wherever Miami recovers it, at that point, it's their ball. So they get a chance to kick the field goal again, and of course, Miami kicks the field goal and wins the game.
Wow, so that's another bonehead play. I was talking about the game where he
That's the Super Bowl.
Yes. Did he intercept it, or did he pick up a fumble and he's running towards the end zone and he's holding the ball?
Fumble return, and I think it's Don Beebe or Steve Tasker bats it out of it right at the one as he goes.
Wow,
we were up 52-17, so it didn't matter in that game. But
yeah,
that's one of my Thanksgiving football memories. And then a group of guys that I actually play poker with still. One year, like at Princess Anne High School, I wasn't even living in this area where I live now. I was driving by, and there was like a group of guys playing football. And I just stopped over, like it's Thanksgiving, like this is my single days. I'm not married, don't have any kids or anything like that. And these group of guys are putting together a game, and like I pull up, and it's like I didn't realize it's like two high schools alums playing together. So it's like you got Princess Anne versus Cox. So all these kids, like all these guys on one side went to PA, all these other guys went to Cox, and it was cool to get involved in that. Ended up Cox needing some players, so I ended up playing for Cox that day, and actually got an interception. But through like meeting some of those guys, like it's funny, like I still play poker with some of those groups of guys from meeting them on that day on Thanksgiving.
All very good stuff, guys. I've told you this before, but man, I appreciate the heck out of you guys. Thanks for being co-host with me on this podcast. Audience, once again, thank you for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. The show's not over, though. We got some Browns to talk about, which we're going to do, but I thought it was suiting that Thanksgiving is just 2 days away, that we would talk about this awesome holiday and just share some things that we're thankful for. Let's get into the next segment, news and notes. This was at the top of my list. I have 3 of them, but the David Njoku presser question with Mary Kay Cabot. Coltrane, did you happen to hear that or see that? Mary Kay asked David Njoku a question like, and I'm going to ad-lib, I don't have it written down, but something to the effect of, do you feel like you owe Deshaun Watson an apology for turning the keys over to him with a losing record and basically a 0 chance of playoffs? And his answer I thought was good. He said, Mary Kay, how many games do we have left? She said 7. He said, well, from where I'm sitting, the season is not over. We've got 7 games left. We're in this thing. It's all about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 game at a time, and that's all we're worried about is the Bucs. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, it's from an offensive player perspective. Like, the offense should feel pretty good, right? Especially, with the circumstances of not having Deshaun Watson for the first 11 games. They have Jacoby Brissett. He was a big question mark going into the season. I think he's impressed a lot of Browns fans, including myself. But as you look at the offensive rankings for the Browns, we're 5th in rushing. We've gone down a little bit the past couple weeks, especially this past week. 17th in receiving. First downs were 3rd and 14th in passing with the total 14th in passing and 4th in total offense. So the offense has been doing great this year. And the reason why I'm saying that is, David Njoku, he says basically he's given her a positive answer. He's saying, look, we're still in this thing. He's talking all positive. My question to you guys is, do you think she would have got a different answer had she asked that question to a defensive player like a Greg Newsome or Grant Delpit or Myles Garrett? What kind of answer do you think she would have gotten there? It would have been different, right? Coltrane?
Yeah, it would have been different. I just think that they're trying. I mean, he's good for him. He's trying to be positive, man. I mean, you can't. I mean, it was basically a layup, and he pleaded the fifth, where he was like, "Look, we're good. Like, don't even go there. Not apologizing to anybody. We're still in this thing." But in reality, they're really they're not in this thing. I mean, they are, but what is it? 2% chance. I mean, it's something to be positive about is great, but if they asked the defense that, I don't know what. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what they'd say, because for me the defense has just been, a total flame, man. Same with special teams. So I don't know what type of answer you get from the defensive guys, but every time it seems like they're the ones that are most speaking out lately, and they're the ones that are basically just like, I'm just like throwing people under the bus in a way, So it's like, it's clear from their little messages that they want Joe Woods out. So.
I mean, I would say, would they have gotten a different answer? I think it's a dumb question. Like, do you owe somebody an apology? I mean, because you could have gone off the rails real quick. Like, do I owe somebody an apology that got suspended for not being able to play? No, that's how I probably would have responded. Like, without thinking, like, I would have just been like, do I owe someone a responsibility who got themselves suspended? No, I don't owe them an apology. And then I would have just kept moving. But I think actually Njoku answered it as bad as perfect as you could. Like, if you're a general manager, a head coach, and you got your guy up there getting that kind of question, like he responded the way you would want him to respond, for sure. Did we lose you, Jason?
And I'm back. Live shows are interesting sometimes. When you hit a mute button and you don't realize it, that's what happens. So thanks for getting my back there. Okay, so you have the offense and you have the defense. I guess what I'm saying is the offense has to be feeling better than the defense does. The offense, Amari Cooper has to be feeling pretty good. Nick Chubb has to be feeling pretty good besides the last game or two. I think I just said Amari Cooper. Kareem Hunt has to feel good. I mean, that he's still on the team. Jacoby Brissett, David Njoku, our offensive players for the most part. Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, you think he's feeling bad? I mean, he's putting up great numbers. Our offense has been holding up their end of the bargain for the most part this season. Now, there's been some games where nothing worked right in all three phases of the game. I'm not putting them on a high pedestal here. I'm just saying that if you ask an offensive player and a defensive player the same question, you're going to get two different answers. The defense can't be feeling good about themselves, but the offense is probably, feeling okay. So I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. My mind goes in weird places after a loss, and I pay attention to pressers. And when Mary Kay asked that question to David Njoku and his response was positive, I was like you, Coltrane. I was kind of surprised because in my feelings, the season's over. Like, it's over. We only have a couple things to look forward to, and that's 1 week from now, pretty much. a little over a week, Deshaun Watson comes back, and we as fans get to see what this team could possibly look like moving into 2023 with, of course, some obvious changes that we have to make. That's all I was saying. Myles Garrett, let's move to the defensive side of the ball. I was trying to get into the mind of Myles Garrett when he, after the game, he was sitting on the bench by himself when the rest of the team was in the middle of the field kind of saying their hellos and goodbyes to the Buffalo Bills players. There was Myles Garrett just sitting on the bench staring at it. And, of course, we don't know what he's thinking, but my mind can go in several different directions. Like, does he want to be traded? Is he done? Is he disappointed? Is he pissed off? Does he want to be better as the what do you guys think it is? Coltrane, I'll start with you.
I mean, for one with Myles, a guy, I've talked about him many times on the show. I mean, I don't know. He's been acting almost Baker-ish this year, in the pressers and all that stuff. He reminds me a lot of Baker, a lot of talk, but not backing it up, So it's like, it's hard for me to take him serious sometimes just because, and I mentioned this on the show, he just got in that big accident where he missed a game. He had the suspension earlier, the year before. So it's like this guy is, whatever he is thinking, this guy to me has a lot of nerve to be pissed about anything just because he hasn't necessarily given his all to help our team out either. And especially doing dumb stuff like that in his car or whatever, that kind of stuff isn't going to help the team. But I think if it's not that, it's also obviously the likely subject, which is they all want Joe Woods out. Everyone sees the same thing we do. Maybe they're sitting there even more harshly than we are. Like, why isn't he gone today? I mean, that's all I can think. But also, too, one side note for Myles, he also could be thinking, like he said in his interviews, this is a waste of people in their prime years right now. This is a waste of talent. We're wasting, even as a fan, we say the same stuff. They're wasting prime years off a lot of our stars right now for this buku crap they've been giving us, dude, and whatever they've been serving us. And I think there was one player that says if something needs to be fixed, they don't effing fix it. That was from an anonymous player. So it's clearly. I think that was it, Joe Woods, where it's he's not helping the D, dude. Myles, I feel like he's giving his all, or you feel like he's giving it his all on the field, but he's not setting him up to be successful like a lot of those players are. I'm not saying that it's completely Joe Woods' fault. It's also on the players as well, but it's got to be a lot of Joe Woods hate and just, like I said, I guess just individual. It's just been a weird year for Myles. Let's just be realistic, man. It's been up and down, So.
Yeah, there's organizations, there's companies, good companies that have bad leadership. Have you guys ever worked for a company that just had bad leadership? Yeah. Doesn't mean they don't have good employees. I think that's what's going on with the Browns. I think there's talent all across the board. I think there's talent on the defense. I think there's definitely talent on the offense. But I don't think we have the good leadership. I think that's what we're missing. For whatever reason, they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and nobody's fixing it. We're seeing the same issues over, and I'm tired of talking about it. I have this in my notes. I want to give a salute to the podcasters out there that did a podcast during the 1-15 and the 0-16 season. I wasn't listening to podcasts back then because I didn't know what a podcast was, but I know there's podcasters out there that were covering the Browns during those seasons. I just want to give you a damn cheers because here we are. We're 3-7, and this is getting tough to talk about each and every week. And one of the reasons why it's getting tough is not because we're losing, but we're talking about the same thing. We're having the same problems, and they're not getting fixed.
Right.
So the leadership has to change, in my opinion. After this year, we can talk about this during the offseason, but I think all of us will agree the defensive coordinator position has to be changed. We have to find a.
We all agree on that. Special teams as well.
Yes. Both. Yeah, both those guys can go.
No doubt.
I mean, here's how I look at it. Everyone's not not at fault at this point. The defense has its problems. It's had its problems for all 3 years that Joe Woods has been here. They've struggled at times. They've looked like they didn't know what they were doing. And it's been a common theme. No matter, like, they've changed out players. They brought in different players. Now, this year's a little different. It's a little bit of scheme. He's done some things to do a little bit better here and there. Like, if you would have told me last week we would hold Josh Allen less than 200 yards, I was like, oh, we're going to win. But in the same realm, we had turnovers. We had penalties, block kicks. They ran for 171 yards. Like, let's face facts. Like, this team can't stop the run on anybody. Like, Buffalo is a bottom 10 rush team. They can't run the ball. They've not been able to run the ball all season. That's been their struggle. It's been what everyone keeps saying is their Achilles heel. And when it gets in the playoffs, there's going to be a game where they need to be able to run the ball, and they can't do it enough. But miraculously, they showed up on Sunday with one practice all week and ran the ball down our throats when they needed to. And that's what drives me crazy, is that Andrew Berry did all this to go out and get Deshaun Watson. It almost is like, it feels like he acknowledged that the season was going to be a wash. And was like, I'm going to bring in some guys, but it doesn't make sense what some of the things he did. Like, he brought in Clowney again. But our defensive tackles last year weren't great. We took average to below average defensive tackles and then replaced them with pure freaking garbage. Like, the guys that we have playing D tackle they're getting blown 5 yards off the ball sometimes. Like,
and that's not a secret. Like,
no.
On Browns Twitter, that was a glaring need for the Cleveland Browns this offseason, was defensive tackle. I heard it on podcasts, I heard it on shows, I saw it on Browns Twitter. Everybody was talking about it, everybody knew it, and we did basically nothing to address it. We drafted Perion Winfrey, and yes, I was excited about it when we drafted him, but what'd you do? Perion! You get a drink. But Perion, it's Saturday night. It's 11 o'clock. No, screw that. But, we just didn't address that need, and it's frustrating, and it's something that we have to do this offseason is address the defensive tackle position and a new D coordinator. We just had Jeff says, please throw the bag at Brian Flores for DC. What do you think about that, Ian?
I like that name, man, for sure. You have to throw the bag at the biggest name you can find. Like, this is not a time to be like interviewing up and coming guys or like a dude that's like, maybe run a defense for a couple years. You got to get your veteran with success. And that's the main thing that I hated when Stefanski brought Joe Woods on. That's a lot of us fans did 3 years ago. His stats were bullcrap. They were garbage, dude. He wasn't that great of a coach. Like San Fran, a lot of players I feel like in San Fran really helped him those years he was there. But his defense was never like brag worthy. So to Jeff's point, Flores, it's a big name. He's got big stats that can back it up, because I'm so sick and tired of, just like how Barry was doing with these players, of these mid pickups. Like, why are we hiring? I'll never understand it. Like, how coaches do that. Stefanski did this. He hired his boy. Joe Woods was his dude. He came up with him in the coaching ranks, and that's great. And that's why he hired him. But sometimes you got to go big. So I hope in this time around, Haslam pushes Barry's hand a little bit and says, look, we need the biggest name with the most success available right now, and bring this guy in, because we don't have time to waste, man. And like you said, even that scary thought you're saying Miles on a bench sitting alone, that's not exactly what we want here, man. We need to get this defense back on track, man. So we do need a big name like a Brian Flores with a good background, because that's what we're missing, dude. Is that Greg Williams type, man. I know a lot of us fans miss Greg Williams, dude. Like, it's okay to like tell a player, hey, mother effer, let's go. It's okay to do that, man. Like, I don't see any of that on our sideline. So it's like, for me, the defensive coach, handle that hire with care, gentlemen. Don't give me just some bum again with like his records like what 24 and 24. Like, don't give me that kind of guy. Give me a dude with success, man. Because I'm sick of it, dude. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of watching this defense where even if we score, guys, I watch games, even if we score, I'm sitting there like, it doesn't matter. We don't have defense. We don't have who wants to watch a game like that as a fan? You know, where you're literally, even if you score 2 TDs in a row and it's 14-0, you're already thinking in the back of your mind, they're going to run on us though. They're going to score another. And then they do, man. So please, guys, I'm begging y'all, back to Jeff's point, hire a big name, dude. Take your time and hire a big name. Don't hire somebody's dude. Stefanski, stop hiring your dudes, man. Pfeiffer and Joe Woods are effing you, man. And you might get fired because of their stupidity. So
that's exactly what I was just thinking. To your point, Ian, if they don't address that situation, look, Joe Woods has to go. They have to find a new defensive coordinator. If they don't address that, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are next. And they're smart guys. They know that, right? So I think that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not calling for Kevin Stefanski's job. I want to let the season play out. I especially want to see what this team looks like with Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure if it'll make a big difference. Maybe it will. Maybe the presence of Deshaun Watson and his leadership on the field will ignite a fire under not only the offense but also the defense. We'll have to wait and see on that. But that's my thoughts, Ian. You just took the words out of my mouth, man. I mean, if they don't address that position, dude, they're the next to be gone.
Yeah, there's no way you can run it back with Woods next year. Like if that happens, like it's just a slap in the face. Like you're a dead man walking at that point. Like you can't run it back with him next year. And I agree with Coltrane when he said Brian Flores. Like Brian Flores makes a lot of sense. You got a guy like Mike Zimmer makes a lot of sense. As defensive coordinator, like I wasn't keen on when he put his staff together. Like when you're a rookie head coach, your first time, you should build a staff. Like this is what bothers me about coaches in the NFL today, and this is what the problem is in this league. And this is why people say the coaching tree is kind of stagnant and bad right now. Is because all these guys hired their friends.
Yep.
They don't interview people and hire the best person available. They're like, oh, if I get a job one day, you're going to be my guy. Why is he your guy? Hire the best person for the job. Don't just hire your buddies. And that's the problem. Like some of these guys get put into positions, and you saw it in Carolina with Matt Rule, brought a bunch of his buddies in. It's like, and these guys wonder why they get fired. This is why you get fired. You're making stupid decisions. Like make sound, intelligent, smart decisions. For guys that went to our front office, for guys that are smart, Ivy Leaguers, they are freaking idiots at times. Like they get so like tunnel vision when it comes to like analytics and looking at the data and the guardrails. It comes like same thing with the players that we bring in. Like, oh, but he's 21, so let's draft him because he's got more potential. There's 5 guys clearly better that are ready to step in and do the job right now, but I want this guy because he's a year and a half younger, and I feel like he's got a lot more untapped potential, and I can have him for longer. It's like that is not how it works, man. Bring in guys that can play football. Like bring in guys that fit your system that can play football. Stop looking at how old they are, their guardrails, the analytics. Like you remember the movie Moneyball? They were always concerned. Like even at the end of Moneyball, like they were like they built this team that could get on base and do all these things. They got to the playoffs, but once they got to the playoffs, they got exposed because they couldn't do fundamental things like bunt, steal bases, not commit errors. It's the same thing with this analytics. Like you have to get back to looking at it from a football mindset, and you can fix this stuff, but we'll see. It's on them.
It's on them, man. It's on them. We're just fans, right? That's all we are. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about the Bills game. I feel like we spent enough energy on that. I spent all my energy on Sunday watching that. But let's talk about a couple players that I thought did well. Jacoby Brissett played amazing. 28 of 41, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, and 1 sack. He had 116 rating. In fact, if you were just to say the stats of Allen and Brissett without the name, you would think it would be reversed. You'd think, oh, that's Josh Allen's numbers. He did that. And that would be Jacoby Brissett's numbers, what Allen did, because he was, 18 of 27, 197 yards, 1 TD, 0 picks, and 2 sacks. But that's not what happened. Brissett had the better day than Allen. So want to give a shout-out to Jacoby Brissett. He has one more game. We need him this week, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But also Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper balled out. He had what did we say last week? Did he have 3 targets the week before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had 3 targets, which was a head scratcher to me. And I think they all came in the first half, and the second half is just they didn't throw to him. But this week he had 12 targets. He caught 8 of them for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper's really a bright spot on this team this year. We stole him for a 5th-round pick from the Dallas Cowboys, so that was good. Who else caught your eye on Sunday that we can give a shout-out to? We all know who did bad.
DPJ was it was really good again. I mean, he's been solid all year. I thought DPJ played very well Sunday. On defense, I will give one guy that I thought played really well, and I think he's showing that this team still needs a free safety. He's not a free safety. He's a strong safety, and he excels when he plays in the box. You move Grant Delpit permanently to strong safety, and then you leave him there, and you go out and you get a free safety. That's what you need. You got to go out and get a free safety.
He's definitely better in the box than in space.
Yeah, I thought Delpit made some nice plays in the box. Like he's not great in coverage. Like he can be okay, but he's not elite or anything. But he's a fit at strong safety.
Jeff says, I cannot wait to see DPJ with Watson. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you, man. That's going to be nice to see. What'd you think about JOK, Ian? I thought he had a pretty solid day.
Yeah, JOK was good, man. He was a stud. He had 3 or 4 plays that caught my eye for sure. I mean, he's definitely a lockdown linebacker, man. They hit on that pick for sure. We got lucky with that heart thing that he had going where all those other teams didn't touch him. He's been quite the steal. But he's having some better games, man, for sure. We definitely miss him when he's not playing. When he's injured, we definitely miss him on the field for sure. So yeah, JOK, was definitely hell, I'd say Cade York if he could freaking get the kickoff. I saw a couple tweets bashing my boy Cade York. Hey, great draft pick, Barry. He stinks. He missed his next one. It's like it got blocked, dude. And how many total field goals this year got blocked by Mike Pfeiffer's amazing special teams, dude? So yeah, like Cade York, Pfeiffer, Foofer.
They're coming up the middle.
It's going to be anyways because he's a piece of poop. But it's one of them things, man. Give the kid a shot. Like that's the thing with Cade too. Like we haven't really seen him because, as you know, Stefanski goes for it on 4th down all the time, anyways. So like we don't get an opportunity. Like I'll give Cade York the full year before I start bashing that dude, just because. He really hasn't had an opportunity. We don't have a coach that likes to kick the ball, dude. Bills like to kick the ball. You saw Bass went 6 for 6. They like to kick field goals. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just saying, guys, back to my point, though, or just to end with this, sometimes it's okay to take the points, Stefanski. Just take those points, baby. It'd be nice. Because, 3 points is 3 points. And, I mean, like I said, Bills did it to us 6 times. I think the kid can kick, man. It's just – Mike Pfeiffer or whatever the heck y'all want to call him, man. He needs to get this special teams, to do something. I mean, his job's been on the line since the season started. But I mean, that guy's just another, like Mikey was saying, with that hire, what was crazy. He retained him. He retained a coach from a losing, regime that just got fired. Like I mean, the whole point of him. Keeping him, Stefanski keeping him around, I never understood. And I'm just, I hate to be going on my tangent here, guys, but it just makes me sick with that, that hire that Stefanski made, man. But yeah, like I said, Cade York, I'd love to see him kick, man. I'd love to see an opportunity to actually see and evaluate the kid. It'd be nice.
And Jerome Ford, he had a pretty good game returning kicks. I thought.
I like Ford, man. I'm ready to move on from Hunt. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm ready to move on from Hunt next year if we don't I don't think we're going to re-sign him, but I'm ready to move on. I'm ready for the Ford era next year for sure, dude. I would love to see Chubb and him in that backfield together. it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well,
let's move on. I'll end with this. It was the game that we didn't get to see. You know, everybody wanted to see that game in the snow. It just didn't happen. I mean, you know, and I saw the pictures of Bills Stadium, and there's no way they could have played a football game in that. Yeah. And you know, the Bills players even had a hard time just getting to the airport out of their house. So I heard it took a collective effort to even get that done. But it would have been nice to see a snow game, but it just wasn't in the cards last week against the Bills. But Mikey P, tell us about Underdog Fantasy.
Well, as you know, we are a partner with Underdog Fantasy here. So for all your fantasy needs, you're going to reach out to Underdog Fantasy using promo code 216. Enter promo code 216 when you enter in $100. They're going to double your deposit up to $100. So it means if you enter in 50, that instantly becomes 100. If you enter in 100, now you got 200. Play using promo code 216 and win some money today. And you know, there's only what we got 7-8 more weeks left of fantasy football. So you know,
not many.
Set you a lineup, a daily fantasy lineup, and get you going. And just remember that go in there and start playing with it now, because legalized gambling's coming to Ohio January 1.
Yeah, did you see the new sports book in Jack's Casino?
I did.
They got it all set up, man. It's ready to roll January 1. So that'll be good. Browns-Bucks. Browns-Bucks preview. The 3-7 Browns take on the 5-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at First Energy Stadium. The Bucks are favored by 3. The over-under is set at 42.5. The Buccaneers are 2-5 outdoor this year and are on a 2-game winning streak, whereas the Browns, you know, we're 2-3 at home. Ian, you know that. You've been to all those. And we're on a 2-game losing streak. So this week, we just praised the offense. We're going to need them this week because we're now facing a pretty stiff defense. Like they don't give up a whole lot. They're really good at defending against the pass and the run. Mikey P, what are your thoughts? I mean, do the Browns even have a shot? I mean, what are we talking about here? Do we have a shot of winning this ball game?
I mean, they have a shot. It's going to be interesting to see because Tampa Bay is not that good at running the ball. They've had their struggles too. So it's going to be another team coming. I mean, if you think about Miami had struggled running the ball. They ran it all over us. Buffalo had struggled running the ball. They ran it all over us. So it would be another thing. Like if Tampa Bay is able to run when they want to, when you can run down someone's throat, like it makes the game so much tougher.
Yeah, I think the first time this year that I was concerned about our run defense, Mikey P, I was with you. It was when we were at the Tidewater Browns backers bar watching the Atlanta game, and their practice squad players who to their credit, they've had a pretty decent year. I forget the guy's name, Allgaier or what's his name. Anyways, he ran all over us that game and ended up beating us pretty good. We saw it against the Patriots. We were there at that game. You know, the Patriots ran all over us, and then last week the Bills did the same. We're going to have to stop Tampa Bay, you know, with the run. How do we get that done? I don't know. I mean, Grant Delpit's going to have to help if he's going to be a strong safety. JOK, you know, we've been missing his services. It was good to see him back this week. I think he's going to help out a lot. Jadeveon Clowney's going to have to step up. Our defensive tackles, you know, Togiai, Bryant, I mean, they're all going to have to step up on this one to stop their run, and then hopefully we can contain all their offensive weapons because they got a lot of them, man. I mean, even Scotty Miller, like that's a little secret weapon that Tom Brady's been using that's been catching some balls for the Bucs. Like they've got some offensive weapons that if we're not careful, it could be a long day for the Browns in First Energy Stadium on Sunday.
Yes, it could.
Ian, you gonna be there, man?
I'm on the fence.
I was actually thinking about going to this game. Seriously, I was. I was like, you know, Tom Brady. I mean, he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. we've all watched him for the past 2 decades. Like, if I ever want to see Tom Brady play live, this would be it, because I think he's going to retire after this year. So I seriously thought about making this trip to Cleveland. I'm not gonna, but I thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say about this game is we always win that one game that we're not supposed to win. That's literally the only thing I would say about this game. My glimmer of hope, if you will, would just be every season the Browns always beat some top team that we really had no business beating. Now, I wouldn't even consider Tampa, with the way their season's going, a top team, but they are Tom Brady, dude. It's a legend. So, I mean, the matchup in itself, yeah, man, it would have to be like a any given Sunday type of luck. Joe Woods, like, staying up for 24 hours, looking at tape, come on, guys, this is it. This is my job, and getting all fired up. That's literally the only thing that can give us a chance Sunday, man, because I don't know, boys. I'll be honest with you. Every week now I've been preparing, like, what else can I do when the game's, about done, maybe cut the lawn, trim the leaves. I mean, it's getting to that point, man, where it's just been god awful football. If Tom Brady starts ripping us up, the first, few minutes of the game, and it's like 21-7 early or 21-3 early, I don't know, y'all, man. That's what it looks like to me, man. But I hope not, brother. I hope for all of our sanities, the score is closer than we think.
I mean, he's the master at getting the ball out quick. Like, Tom Brady is a statue back there. He's old. He's not mobile, but he's hard to get to because he throws it so damn fast. So our defensive ends are going to have their work cut out for him, because I think you have to put pressure on Tom Brady to throw off his timing, his rhythm. But the guy's seen everything. The guy's seen every defense you could imagine. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. Jacoby Brissett, I think he'll be amped for this game. I mean, this is essentially his last start for this year, because Deshaun Watson comes back after this week. So, we should see. I think we'll see a great game from Jacoby Brissett. I hope it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough, because Tampa Bay has a great defense in all facets. I mean, they're great at stopping the run, the pass. I mean, everything. So he's going to have to do something really amazing. But like you said, Ian, and I'm hanging my hat on that, sometimes we win games we're just not supposed to win. And it's any given Sunday. We see it every single week. You look at the score and you're like, oh, damn, that team won or that team lost. It happens every single week. So maybe this will be our week. I don't know. But the reason why I'm excited right now as a Browns fan, because next week we got Deshaun Watson back. It's against the Houston Texans. And for the next 6 games, we get to see what this team is going to look like moving into 2023. Of course, with some changes and tweaks. Maybe some major changes. We don't know. But that's what I'm excited about. I hope we get the win, and we're about to give our predictions, but we'll have to see. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I mean, the Buccaneers, they're in kind of a weak division, right? I mean, they have a 1-game lead over Atlanta, I think. So they're in a battle of their own.
They are.
They had a tough stretch in November. They've lost some games, but they've won 2 straight, so they're kind of back on track. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun game, but hopefully it's close, and who knows, maybe we'll pull it out. All right, give us one yard dog this week that you think. And Ian, here's the thing: you can't say Amari Cooper again. Give us 1 yard. I'm just kidding. You can say it.
No.
One yard dog that can put us over the top against the Buccaneers.
Immediately, who comes to mind, as you mentioned earlier in the show, Nick Chubb. 1 to 2 games, he's been off. Whether it's they're not, I mean, he's just been getting stopped up. I mean, I don't know if our O-line just isn't playing, but Nick Chubb is due for a big game, man. He's been off for 2 weeks. So my yard dog of the week definitely will be Nick Chubb. I think he gets 2 scores in the end zone this week for sure, trying to hang with Tom Brady, but we shall see if it's enough. But yeah, Nick Chubbers is my yard dog of the week.
Okay. Mikey P?
My yard dog of the week is going to be the offensive line. I'm going to give it to a skill position. The offensive line is going to have to come through this week and keep the pocket clean and allow us to be able to run the ball. Like, we need them to push around this Tampa Bay front a little bit. So I'm gonna go offensive line this week.
Mikey P, I like that. I like that move. We said a couple weeks ago, you got to win in the trenches, right? If you're going to win a football game, it starts in the trenches, and you got to open up those holes for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and you got to keep Jacoby Brissett off his backside during the game. So I like that. Yard dog of the week for Mikey P is O-line. Mine is Myles Garrett. I think I might have picked him last week. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and listen, but my yard dog of the week is going to be Myles Garrett. I think him sitting on that bench last week made me really wonder, like, what is he thinking? Is he just wanting to really turn this around? I mean, he's a competitive guy, I believe. And I believe that he's on track of being in the Hall of Fame one day. He still has some work to go. He's an all-time sack leader for the Cleveland Browns, long history. But to win this game or even have a shot, I think that we do have to put pressure on Tom Brady, and it starts with Myles Garrett. Like, if he can get in there and maybe cause a strip, sack, fumble, I call them drive stoppers. With sacks are drive stoppers. You get sacked and lose 7-9 yards. You just stop them on that drive, essentially. And we're going to need a couple of those on Sunday if we have a chance. So my yard dog is Myles Garrett. I want to see him have a big day and turn this around. Coltrane, you have a YouTube announcement.
Yeah, if you want to support the show, you can subscribe to the Network 216 YouTube channel for free. We're working hard to bring Cleveland sports content. We have more shows joining the network. We are your one-stop shop for all your Ohio sports content. Just go ahead and click that subscribe button. It usually lets you know when we're on, especially Facebook too. I know the same thing. It gives you a little message that knows that when we're on, then you can write the comments. They pop up right in here. So Big Kevin Sports, here we go. Brownies, here we go. Beat Michigan, Tom Brady. Okay, holla, holla. They're always coming in. So, check out that YouTube, man. Everyone's using it. There's already been a handful of people. So keep on listening, watching on YouTube, y'all.
There we go. And Ohio State plays Michigan Saturday. So this is a big rivalry weekend. Big game for Ohio State against Michigan. High noon. That's right. All right, let's get into our prediction time. We're running a little bit over, but that's okay because the Bark and Brown show is not tonight following this show. It's actually tomorrow night. So that's why you're for those of you wondering, like, guys, you got to get off the air because Bark and Brown's next. Well, no, sir. We can go overtime a little bit. It's okay.
Sorry, Konzi. I'll have to fill in for you tonight, Konzi.
That's right.
We got your back, buddy.
So let's get into our prediction time. We have a year-long bet on this show. A year-long, and it's a big bet. We're doing weekly Browns predictions, and we're also predicting the rest of the AFC North. The winner out of us three gets a Yard Dawgs Podcast trophy that he can put on his mantle, brag to his friends next Thanksgiving. Just think, a year from now, you could have that Yard Dawgs Podcast trophy in your new basement there, Coltrane, and you can brag about how awesome you are at predicting ball games. And it's something that you won. It's a prize. How's that go?
It's a grand prize.
It's a grand prize. All right. The loser, this is the fun part. The loser has to choose the punishment, either A, the one chip challenge, which it's extremely hot. I wouldn't recommend it. Or you could take the top 5. We're going to take comments throughout the year, and the top 5 punishments gets put on the wheel of destiny, which that wheel is in my garage. It's all ready to go. So as we're going through our predictions, audience, if you can put a couple punishments on there, we'll put in the list, and then we'll pick the top 5 punishments at the end of the year and put it on the wheel of destiny. If you're wondering the standings, Mikey P, it's a real close race. Mikey P has 17 points. He was 3-0 last week, so kudos to you, Mikey P, 3-0. 17 points. Coltrane is at 20 points, so just a 3-point lead. He was also 3-0. Kudos to you, Coltrane.
Man, we should have done a parlay, Mikey.
You should have done a 3-team parlay. You would be millionaires right now. And myself, I'm tied with Coltrane. Last week I was 2-1 because I was a homer and picked the Browns. But to my credit, I thought we were going to be playing in 6 inches of snow, so that's why I picked the Browns.
Remember, I gave you two scores. I said one. This is one if they play in the snow. This is the one they play in Detroit.
Yeah. All right, so 20, 20, and 17. Prediction time. First game of the week. Bengals at Titans. The Bengals are favored by 1.5. Titans just, man, they're really starting to come along. Bengals are too. Coltrane will start with you. Who's going to win this game and your score?
I'll go Titans 24, Bengals 20.
Titans
I don't
24.
like the Bengals.
Okay. Mikey P.
Ironically, I have a very similar score. I have the Bengals 24 and the Titans 20.
Going with the Bengals.
All right.
All right, I'm going to follow in the footsteps of Coltrane here. I'm picking the Titans 23-17 is my score on that. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, why are they giving scores? Well, if you get the exact score prediction, you get 3 extra points. So that's why we do that. All right, so Coltrane and myself have the Titans, and Mikey P, you're picking the Bengals. So if the Bengals win, you just gained a point on us, man. It could be a real close race at that point.
I didn't go last either, so.
That's right. All right, Ravens at Jaguars. Ravens are favored by 4. Just like the first game, this could be a tough game to predict. And it starts with me, doggone it. All right. I'm going to pick the Ravens to win this game 28-26. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be a close game, but the Ravens find a way to come out on top, even though they did have a hard time scoring this past week. I didn't see the game, but I'm like, man, I think it was 0-0 at halftime.
I think it was 3-0. It might have been 3-0 or something. I think it was 3-0 at halftime.
Yeah, they for whatever reason, they had a really hard time scoring, but I think they rebounded and put up 4 touchdowns this week to beat the Jags. Coltrane, you're next.
I got Ravens 28, Jags 14.
And then I will go in a close one. I think it's going to be closer than people think. Ravens 19, Jags 17.
Okay, so we're all picking the Ravens, huh? All right. Steelers at Colts. Colts are favored by 2.5 in this game. Jeff Saturday's third game as the head coach. Yeah, he almost beat the Eagles. I think they lost by 1 point. So he won his first game against the Raiders. So what do we think he's going to do against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mikey P, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go Colts 20, Steelers 17.
20-17. And I have the Steelers in this one, 24-21. And one of the reasons why is because my wife, when I came downstairs last week, she goes, I can't believe you didn't pick the Steelers in this one. So I want to stay out of trouble this week. So I'm picking the Steelers in a close one against the Colts. Coltrane will end with you on this.
I got the Colts in a close one, 14-7.
Ooh, a low-scoring affair.
Okay, so I'm the only one who picked the Steelers. So
yep.
that could be costly.
Point for us. When we get this.
We're going for a 4-team parlay this week.
Okay. And the game of the week, the Buccaneers at the Browns. The Buccaneers are favored by 3 points. Guys, do we think the Browns are going to snap a 2-game winning streak and beat the Buccaneers? What do we think? Coltrane, we'll start with you.
Buccaneers 28, Browns 17. At the end of the day, fellas, the team just isn't driven enough until Watson hits the field. They're disgruntled with Joe Woods still. Stefanski's looking at the depth menu. Buccaneers over Browns. Sorry, y'all.
Okay. Mikey P?
It's going to be fourth quarter. Browns are leading 17-16. Tom Brady gets the ball back with 2 minutes 35 seconds. Drives them down the field. They go up 22-17, try for a 2-point conversion and fail. Browns get the ball back with about 30 seconds left, but not enough time. I think Bucks pull it out 22-17. I don't feel like we're going to get curb stomped this week, but it is going to be a close one, and probably one of those where it's like, I call it the Paul Walker in Fast and the Furious when he tells Vin Diesel, I almost had you. That's what I feel like the Browns are always doing. I almost had you.
Very detailed in that prediction, Mikey P. I like it.
I like to put detail in my misery.
Yeah. Although, let's say it did play out like that. I mean, I would be disappointed at the result, but I would be excited in the fourth quarter that we're in this game and we could potentially win by just stopping Tom Brady. So I would like to have more than 30 seconds on the clock, though, to come back and beat the Buccaneers. But all right, I also have the Bucks. This is very tough for me to pick against the Browns. If you've heard this show, you know that I rarely do that. I almost picked against the Browns last week, but then the snow, I thought it was going to be a snow game, so I changed it and I picked the Browns, and it cost me. This week, I can't go with the Browns. I mean, even though I want to, of course, we all want to see them win. I do think it's going to be pretty close, like Mikey P. The Bucks are going to win 31-26.
This might be the first time I think you've ever picked them against the Browns that I can recall.
It could be.
Hey, and look at it this way, fellas. If we win, that's it's like the best of both worlds. Either way, we're not going to get the point, all three of us. So if they win, let's be positive about it. It's a win-win for everybody.
I can say this from being with Jason for the last 2 years, and then now Coltrane being with us for the last few months. Coltrane and me are very similar, where we can get to that negative side real quick.
Yeah.
If the Browns ever get Jason to that side, then it's over.
Yeah,
it's done.
I'll sell my seasons at that point. I'll let the ticket guy know.
You just put your tickets on StubHub at that point. The rest of the season.
Yeah, pack it in, boys. It's over. Yeah.
Once I don't hear Jason, let's be positive. We know we're done, bro. We're legit dumpster fire. Just sell the team.
All right. Well, Kevin, big Kevin Sports. We gotta land this plane, guys. It's we're overtime here, and we got families. But Big Kevin Sports, Tampa Bay 21, Browns 19. Kevin, you reminded me. I want to announce this on the Yard Dawgs Podcast. If you're on Twitter, on Sunday morning, we're gonna put a contest for a free homage shirt, free homage T-shirt. If you guess the winner of the game with the correct score prediction, the first one to do that. Actually, screw that. If you guess who's going to win the game and the correct score prediction, even if you're not the first one, you're going to win a free T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just grab Ian's credit card and then we'll get that bad boy ordered. I'm kidding. But no, I'm not kidding about the contest. We're going to do that. So be looking out at Yard Dawgs Pod on Twitter Sunday morning. We'll go ahead and put that contest out there. It's always fun to see score predictions, and it's always even better to see someone get it right. Well, whoever gets the right score prediction will get that free homage T-shirt of your choice. You can go to the homage link and pick your shirt out, and we'll get that shipped to you. So, final thoughts. I want to give a shout out to Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, Browns legend. It was announced that he got to be a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I think it was a foregone conclusion that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. It's just a process. But now he's a semifinalist. If you read the names, he's got some competition. I just don't see them holding him out of the Hall of Fame this year. But shout out to Joe Thomas for that.
If he does not get in, I will find out who's responsible, and I will come to them personally and pay a visit. Just making that known now.
Yeah. I would like to see Joe Thomas in the Hall of Fame. I might actually make the trip to Canton. Maybe Mikey P and I both make the trip to Canton to see that Hall of Fame speech.
Us three and Brian Music, man. Us four. Let's ride up.
And we'll do the Thriller dance.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
That is a party, buddy. Us three and Brian? Like, wow. Let's make that happen. Because Mikey P, you'd said this, and I hadn't thought about it, but if Joe Thomas gets in the Hall of Fame, they could potentially have the Browns play the Hall of Fame game. So we could see the Browns play and watch Joe Thomas in the Hall of Fame. So that'd be good. Guys, we have to get rid of some of these comments. We have some bots on there putting some bad comments. Guys, happy Thanksgiving. It's been a special episode. We had some laughs. I feel better because, the Browns kind of put you in a bad mood. And I feel better after talking about it. It's not all doom and gloom, guys. I do believe we'll be okay. We have Deshaun Watson coming back in a couple weeks, and although I think that's great, I don't think he's going to cure our problems. I don't think our problems will be immediately fixed, but I do think it's the start of great things to come for the Cleveland Browns. So this is the first time I've ever been 3-7 and hopeful for the rest of the year. I am hopeful. I'm excited. Final thoughts, Mikey P?
I'm just thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for my family. Like I said, I'm thankful for the fans. I'm honestly, as much as I give grief to the Cleveland Browns, I'm thankful that we still have a team that we can complain about, because 1995 happened and we didn't have a team for a few years, and that was tough. So I'm thankful that we can have a show to talk about a team that frustrates us.
That's right.
And all I want to see, just find a way, guys. Find a way to get a win. Just find a way.
Yes. Coltrane?
Yep, exactly. Definitely need that win, man. Need a dub here and there, but I'll end on this, guys. In 1 week, the Watson 6 is coming to Cleveland, and I am excited as hell to see that now on the field. I already got goosebumps. Just, there is light at the end of this tunnel, fellas, no matter if we beat the Bucs or not, and it's the Watson 6, man. I cannot wait for those 6 games where Deshaun Watson laces up. We see what he's got. We see what this offense is capable of. And, hey, you never know, man. That dude might just go off, and we could win quite a few games in that last stretch of 6. But, man, that's what I want to leave y'all with. It's not all doom and gloom. We do have our franchise $230 million quarterback starting, running the reins, seeing how he leads this team. And let's see if it's a culture change, guys, because this is a job interview for everybody. These next 6 games after this Tom Brady matchup is going to be real cool to watch, because I really want to see if the culture shifts a little bit, because if I know Watson, I know how well he can play. I think the culture is shifting upwards, man. Hopefully we can get a nice little bundle of wins before the season's over, y'all. So looking forward to the Watson 6, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Yard Dawgs Podcast. Audience, thanks for tuning in to YouTube. I see a lot of comments coming in from our YouTube page. Just like Ian said earlier, if you're looking at your phone and you see that you're not subscribed to Network 216, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps out the show. It also helps out the network. Well, I like to end all of our podcasts with the Go Browns. So, Ian, Mikey P, if you'll join me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Browns!